Hi everybody, it's Chloe Dillo and I'm back here talking to you guys about my informative speech on how to make my favorite pasta, which is a creamy vodka-less pasta. And we're gonna get into later why I put vodka-less. And also I'm gonna have to have y'all excuse my voice because I'm a little sick and congested, so please just put that aside whenever you're listening. Anyways, why pasta? So I have been cooking for my friends and my family for as long as I can remember, and I love doing it for people because people can't argue about food, and it brings everybody together, and everybody loves food. And I really like making this recipe because it's super easy, and it's budget friendly, and it's really hard to mess up. And if you know me, I'm really good at messing things up. But this is super easy, and it usually only runs me about $15 whenever I buy it at Walmart, unless I'm getting like a protein, so you have to add a little bit of extra room for the protein. But it's super budget friendly, and you can have this pasta for like a week after you make it. So what you're gonna need a box of pasta to your liking, and rigatoni is a good start, but you really can use any type of pasta that you want. I've used bow tie rigatoni, rotini pasta. It really just depends on what you want to use. And you're also gonna need olive oil and butter, and so olive oil and vegetable oil are kind of interchangeable, so really just any type of oil that you have is gonna work. And you're also gonna need any type of seasoning that you like. So I just use salt, pepper, onion powder, crushed red pepper, and garlic powder. But I've also used cayenne and paprika, but those are kind of overpowering ones, so I just kind of put those to the side because the sauce is pretty flavorful itself. For the sauce, you're also going to need tomato paste, fresh garlic or garlic, which is just canned garlic, which I have over here to the left of your screen. And you're going to need heavy cream and mozzarella cheese. And you can also use Parmesan cheese, but I don't really like Parmesan cheese, so I just kind of let my friends put it on their bowl after they get done. But it really just depends on how cheesy you would want the sauce. And also, if you want to, you can use vodka. I don't use vodka because I am only 19 and I cannot obtain said vodka. But people use it in the sauce and they say it's really good. But I've never used it, and I probably am not going to plan on using it because I've perfected my recipe, so yeah. And like I said, you can also use any type of protein that you want. And I've used chicken a bunch of times, and chicken with this pasta I think really brings out the flavor. So I would totally recommend using chicken. But I've also seen people use shrimp and salmon, and I really want to try shrimp because that looks really, really good. Anyways, so you're going to want to boil your pasta until it's al dente. So al dente means that it's like a little firm whenever you get done boiling it, because you don't want it too soft, because then the pasta itself is going to fall apart. Then after that, you are going to drain the pasta, but make sure that you get a cup of the pasta water so that you use it for the sauce later, because the sauce has a little bit of the starch left over from the noodles, and it's going to help make the sauce more liquidy instead of having it super, super thick. So after that, you're going to start the sauce by heating your oil and your butter in a saucepan on medium heat. And after that, you're going to take your garlic, whether you have the fresh chopped garlic or you just have the garlic, and you're going to put a spoonful in there and just saute it and stir it around until it's fragrant. So just make sure that it's kind of brown and it's a little cooked. But after that, you're going to add your tomato paste into the pan, and you're going to stir it around too. And so the garlic is going to stick to the tomato paste, and that's how you're going to know that it's pretty ready. But after you let it stick, I would let it cook for a couple more minutes just to get the tomato paste a little warm. And then after that, you just have to add in the heavy cream and then mix it all together. And this is going to take a little bit longer anyways because the tomato paste is a solid, and you're going to have to stir it really good for it to mix it with the heavy cream. And so after your heavy cream and your tomato paste mixture has come together, you're going to put in the pasta water until you find a consistency that you're going to like. And it really, you can just experiment with this. However liquidy you want your sauce to be is completely up to you. And then you're going to keep on tasting it until you have a taste that you prefer, and then you're going to add in the seasonings that you think you're going to need. And you don't have to have any of them, or you can add as many as you want. It really doesn't matter. It's all up to you. And then you're going to add in your mozzarella cheese and then stir it around until it is fully incorporated and melted into the sauce. And you want to make sure that your sauce is smooth. You don't want any clumps in it, because then that's going to make it nasty. All right, so now all you got to do is pour the sauce over the noodles, and bam, you got pasta. And don't come at me for the dirty oven. It's not my oven. But yeah, it's so easy. Anyway, here are some things you can use for better results. So like I said, fresh garlic is always a great way to go about the sauce, but I'm lazy and I just use jarred garlic because it literally tastes the same. And yeah, so unless you want to take some time out and chop some garlic up, go for it. And also make sure that you do not overcook the pasta, because overcooking the pasta will make the noodles fall apart, and you don't want that because it's going to be hard to transfer over into a container after you get done eating it. But yeah. And also stir the sauce so often, because if it burns at the bottom of the pan, it's going to make a really charred taste, and sometimes the charred taste is okay, but not in this type of sauce. So make sure that you are stirring that sucker often, because it's so annoying to clean off the bottom of the pan too. So just make sure that you keep everything moving. So anyways, if you want to treat your friends or your family or even yourself, I totally encourage you to try this recipe. And it really only takes about 20 minutes, but like I said, if you are cooking a protein, I would say about 45 minutes. And you can also find different types of recipes online, but I found mine from TikTok because it was viral a couple years ago. But you can totally find any type of recipes anywhere. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that this is something that you are going to want to try in the future to cook for yourself, for your family, or your friends. And excuse me for this pronunciation, but I got my original recipe from Nagi Mehashi, and I just took the vodka out and I put my own little twist on it. But yeah, thank you.